Hello, everyone, and welcome to Out of Nowhere. Well, tonight we'll be talking about spiritual things. Um, we've got a great guest on my show today. She's been on before, but quite a while ago. It might be a year ago. I'm not right sure. Her name is Janet Wildman. Uh, Janet is a spiritual healer, clairvoyant, tarot, and angel card reader. She's also teach spiritual development classes. I'm just a person to spirit do the work. I am an humble with such wonderful friends. Can we please welcome Janet to the show? Hello there.
Hi everyone. It's lovely to be here, and thank you all for coming on this evening. Thank you, Bob, for allowing me to come on. And yeah, it's really with the spirit work. It's the spirit that do the job. I just open my mouth and let things happen.
If you go to your right hand side where comments are and click on that up here, you'll see it on your right hand side. Just click on it and you'll see everybody in chat room. There's
Right,
Paul
hang on.
in there, there's Joanne, Steph there, Alison, Sober Carper. There's quite a few people in there. Um,
Right, there you go. Yeah, got it.
yeah, have you got it right? I know you talked about when you're growing up, you had an
hmm
infinity with horses. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've always loved horses. Like a lot of young girls, horses are the thing of life. Just about every second word was about horses when I was growing up. My family weren't very rich, so I never owned my own horse. But my dad used to take me to local riding school on Saturday mornings. And I started off on a small pony and then gradually worked up. But horses, yeah, from very a young age, um, I got to know horses. I got to feel horses. And when I say feel them, I don't mean just physically feeling them, just generally feeling them. And I used to live in Armley, where the jail is, in Leeds, and there used to be rag and bonemen there. And sometimes they couldn't catch their horses because they just didn't want to be used on that day. And I would go into the field, and the horses would just come up to me quite willingly, and they'd go from there. But nowadays, I find that horse sense is an incredible thing. Um, the more you know about horses and you see horses and work with them, you get the knowledge of not everyday things that people have, but just the knowledge of life. What am I trying to say? Horses give you so many teachings, so many things that can happen. For instance, when I was going out with my boyfriend, this is years ago, well, before I got married and now divorced. But I used to be the horse rider. I knew everything, typical girl, typical horse loving girl.
Hmm.
I knew horses. And I said to my boyfriend, we'd gone on holiday, and I said, would you come riding with me? And I think we were on the Isle of Wight or somewhere like that. And he said, I'll come riding with you, Janet, but I don't want you to be bossy, and I don't want you to be lecturing about horses. So I thought about that, and I thought, am I coming across like that? Anyway, so we went to the stables, never been there before, and all of the daft is, has anybody ridden? And basically size and weight. So I just did a little. So I went to stables, and they presented me with this little pony, which was about 14 hands high, only small, lovely little pony. And I stood there with it, stroking it, did its girth up, got the stirrups ready for myself, didn't mount, just waited. got me up on this pony, and the lady that run the riding school came up to me and she says, "You can ride, can't you?" And I said, "Well, I do a bit." And she says, "Jump off that one, and you can take the show horse out. He hasn't been ridden for a while." So what that pony said to me was, if you stop boasting about it and let the horse tell the tale of who you are and what you can do, then people can see it rather than you boasting about it. And it was an incredible lesson that horse taught me that day. And I'll always be grateful for it, because it's right. You know, you don't need to boast about yourself. What you've got to do is just let others see what you can do. That's it.
That's fine. How did it all start for you, getting into being a psychic medium then?
Right. Well, when I was young, I used to, as I say, with the horses, I used to see things in the wallpaper. When I was about 6 to 8 years old, I had premonitions, nasty premonitions. It was like I could, on a night, I'd sometimes go to bed and there'd be aircraft come down, and there'd be dead bodies over my bedroom and everywhere. Horrible. And I used to obviously wake up in tears and everything. And then the very next day, there'd been an aircraft disaster. So things like that used to happen. Anyway, you kind of lose things when you get older, get married, etc. So things happened and moved on in life. After I'd got the children, still horse riding, kids were young, and I did my back in. I don't know how I did my back in, but my back went. So went to doctors, they said, can't do anything about it. Went to physio, he said, well, we can help it, but I can't cure it. So a friend said, well, why don't you go to a healer? Well, the only healer I knew about was Jesus. So I said, okay, where? Well, in Bradford, there was a healer called Don Greenbank. Now, he's now in spirit, but I went there. And Don, he's an incredible man. He literally just put his hand on my back, and I felt 3 bones in my spine go click, click, click. There was no manipulation. There was no pain. And it was incredible. And I thought to myself, I wish I could help people and animals like that. And when you first went to Don, he gave you a book, and it was about his life and then how to progress in the spiritual world. So, or in the work. So I started to learn how to meditate. Well, I learned to meditate through myself. It scared me silly, some of it. But so yeah, I learned that, and then got in touch with the National Federation of Spiritual Healers. Went to the church, did 2.5 years of probationship, went down to London to do the tests. Came up here, did some more tests, and then got my full healer's license. And it's incredible. To work with spirit as a healer is incredible. But not only that, when I started my healing, there was a lot of Reiki coming on the scene. Well, that kind of took over what I was doing. So I decided then to sort of diverge off. So then I got into the cards and doing the readings. And then from there, I've done the cards, clairvoyance, readings. I now do past life regression, which is absolutely fantastic because you can do healing through the past life regression.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's all good. So that's it, really.
There's a question from Alison here.
Mm-hmm.
From Alison. Hi, Janet. Do you know what needs healing on a person without them telling you?
That's a difficult one, Alison, because yes and no. When you're healing somebody, I'm usually feeling the aura of a person because that's the way I heal. But with that, there'll always be spirit saying, go to such and such a point. So because some people will say if I've got leg ache, so I'm limping. I could be having leg ache, but on the other side of me, I can be aching on my back because it's compensating.
Yes.
So when you sort of healing, as I said before, I usually let the spirit take over, and they will direct me to where I need to be. So yes and no to that one, if that makes sense. Sometimes it's quite obvious to you when they come. Sometimes you'll get a banging headache and you'll know. One of the stories that I've got from being a healer when I was first learning, I was only learning at this point. A guy came and sat in front of me. I worked through the auras, and all I could get was this really banging headache. It was horrible. So afterwards, he went, and I asked that I'd never. I was frightened actually, and I said, "Does everybody else pick up this?" And none of them did. And I said, "Well, would you mind if I don't sort of deal with him again?" Anyway, never turned up again. But a few weeks later on, I asked about this gentleman, and I got told that he'd actually died of a brain hemorrhage.
Oh.
And I was picking it up. I helped him because I was giving him healing, but I was picking it up. But because I was learning, I couldn't deal with it. So if that answers your question, Alison, I hope it does. I'm sorry if it doesn't.
That's fine. That's fine. Do you come from a religious background then? Does your parents come from?
Once again, yes and no. I was brought up to go to the Methodist Church. I was christened. Church of England. I became a Methodist at 16 and then changed to do what I do. But my mum, when she was young and she practiced this, she was a Christian Scientist. And then my dad was, he went to we all went to the local Methodist church, but I found later when I had one of my first readings from a decent medium, a lady called Sarah Elizabeth came and gave me a message through spirit, Sarah Elizabeth. And I was telling my dad, and my dad said, "Oh yes, that's my mum." She was a spiritualist. I didn't know.
Oh.
So it was, I was good with horses. My dad, animals came to my dad. My dad would be walking down the street and a dog would follow him home. My mum used to see angels, and she was able to tell anybody when they were pregnant and what their baby was. But other than that, I didn't know anything.
Right. A question from Alex.
Mhm.
Evening, Janet. Is it always spirit that are in control? And how fast can we develop into mediumship and psychic work?
Is it always spirit that's in control? No. You have to be in control. When I teach, this is very, very important. I always teach people that it is us that's in control. Simply because if you're open all the time, and when I mean open, you're open to spirit and they're doing the talking through you, or then you can be picking up anybody and everything. So
True.
So the way I describe it is, it's a bit like a radio. When you turn it on, it's on. So you're picking up all the channels. So you've got to tune in and get it right. So then you're tuning into the highest vibration that you can. And you do this by learning to meditate and all the development work that we do. So because you've got to tune into the highest and brightest, as we call it, or the guides that you work with that will keep you safe. Because when a person dies, we don't all go and live on a cloud and play a harp. Thank God, it'd be boring. But there are a lot of what I would describe as mischievous souls out there. And when you're open all the time, you can be picking up any mischievous souls. And I'll say it like that. So you must be in control. Okay? And it's like when I go to bed on a night, or when I finish with this, I finish this. I go watch telly, stick my feet up. That's it. If you keep yourself open and you're not in control, then all of the spirits can come in. And this is when people go nutty, fairy-ish. Yeah. So you must be in control. And it's like when you go to bed on a night, you say your prayers and then you go to sleep, and the spirit aren't allowed to come in and mess with you, give you messages, because it's your nighttime sleep. It's like if a hairdresser is walking down the road, you wouldn't go up to them and say, "Oh, can you just cut my hair just to make sure that just in middle of the street?" You can't do that. The spirit we work together. It's a working relationship. So the spirit have to be in control. You have to say, "Okay, you can come in now, guys. There you go. Okay, love, it's finish time. Bang." Okay.
It's funny because Sober's just come in, and it's very similar to what you're talking about now. Do you ever get any messages from tricksters type spirit trying to pretend to be someone else?
No, I haven't had that, but I've just saying on a night when you're in bed, sometimes if I know that I haven't shut down properly when I go to bed, I will get spirit popping in, and I've had a spirit dog. I've just been falling asleep and it's gone woof in my ear and made me blooming jump and wake myself up again. So it's one of those things. The other part of that, the first question was, how long does it take to learn? I'm still learning, and there's no length of time. You learn at your own process, and you're still learning. It's a learning for life, and I believe that once you start on this track and you really want to do this work, it's eternal. Once you've passed, you're still a medium, you're still a healer. It goes on eternally because I know I've sold my soul to spirit, basically. Um, so that there you go for that one. Okay.
Yeah, well, Paul's heading out to Cliffs. He said, I'm heading out in a bit, so Mary's sat here. I wonder if Janet would tell your listeners what happened when you went to the Cliffs a few years ago.
Okay. So this kind of diverges onto the some different areas. Okay, so yeah, I went up on the cliffs with Paul and a few others and my son. My son is autistic. He's quite sensitive. Excuse me, and he's a lovely lad, but he does feel things. Anyway, so we went up on the cliffs. Excuse me, at Bempton. And as soon as you go to certain areas up there, it's a very, very strange feeling you get. And it's quite, you feel, I don't know if you felt it, and you feel it, Bob, up there, but you kind of feel different vibrations. It's a very weird feeling.
Oh, you do, yeah.
And it's certain areas because you can be walking and then suddenly you feel it. But yeah, we were walking up there and I felt this strange thing, sensation. Anyway, we were looking around and Paul's very much into UFOs and things like this, and is really good as Paul. Paul and Mary are brilliant people. And Paul's brought out a few books on the UFOs and things like this. But what I'm trying to say is, I looked over. There's a big shed, and in this shed there was some lights appear. Now, people say lights are lights, but it wasn't lights. It was a different form of lights, very bright, and they're kind of all in a row, straight up like that. Very strange. And there were, I can't remember what really happened. You know how your mind changes things. But all I remember is there were these lights, but they were hovering. Now, people could say, oh, they must have been on a string, or there could have been LEDs that had just fallen down. But it didn't feel right. And these lights were kind of moving like in this barn door, and it just all,
the lights were in an empty RAF building.
Yeah, very, very weird. Anyway, I sort of mentioned this to Paul.
You were with Andy, weren't you?
Yeah, and yeah, Paul said that he told me later that somebody had seen some lights. This set of lights go past them while they were walking. I didn't know that, but this set of lights just literally went past this guy as they were walking down the path. Very, very peculiar, very, very weird. It's not spiritual as we call it, but it's all interconnected. But I know that a few days ago, well, a few weeks ago, when I was up there with Paul before, I looked at the sea, and you can see in the sea shapes moving. Now, daylight, yeah, great, fine. On an evening when it's dark, you can see luminous shapes moving in the sea, and it isn't like the luminous seaweed and things like that. Very peculiar. So if anybody's into UFOs, aliens, whatever you'd call them, extraterrestrials, I don't know what the term is for it, but Paul knows, Bob knows, and there's a lot of stuff goes on out there. So if anybody's interested in Paul St. Clair there, he's done a lot of books on it, and Bob's there with him, and really, really good at that sort of thing. So all credit to them.
Paul would just said it was the ghost of big railings is what the fishermen call it.
I can't remember. I forget messages
That's
and things.
the other thing from what goes out to sea as well.
Sorry, Bob, you're breaking up
Yeah,
there.
that's all right. Right then. Right, we've got about half an hour to go. If anybody in the chat room would like a reading, give us a little message, what you want to know. Janet's here. She's ready and waiting. And fully charged, by the way. She's plugged herself in, ready and waiting. I'll tell you before we start then, I don't know if Paul's still there. Have you got anything for Paul? And
Paul and Mary. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Paul, I need you to look after your throat, my love, because I feel as though there's an issue. Somebody's got an issue here. I don't know. Is there something going wrong with your doorbell? Because I feel as though there's somebody either playing with your doorbell or there's something going on with it. So I don't know if you need that battery changing or something in there. And I do feel as though there's a car that needs, I don't know if you want to change your car again, but I do feel as though that's changing. I also feel as though Mary, I don't know what's going on with you. I feel as though there's like a party going on. I've got cakes, little buns, little cakes. And I don't know who in the world of spirit, Mary, that would be the lady that did a lot of baking, because I've got loads and loads of little buns for you here, with icing and cream on. And this lady is coming in, and I don't know if she's a grandma, but she's just saying she loves you so very much. She's blowing kisses at you, and she's giving you sunflowers. I feel as though the sunflower was very, very important to this lady. I've also got to bring your little dog in, because that little dog is running around your feet at the moment. And I just feel as though I honestly feel as though they're saying thank you so much. This lady is saying thank you so much, Mary, for going above and beyond for what you've done, not just with your family, but for her as well. I've got a gentleman here. I don't know if he's Paul's relation, but a gentleman who used to go fishing. But I feel as though it's more fishing in the river with the long fishing rod. But he's got his waders on right up to his stomach, and he's saying, he's kind of keeping you dry for some reason. So I don't know what's going on here, but I feel as though you need. Right, when I get water, it's emotion. So they're just keeping you stable, and I feel as though there's a lot of emotion going to go on around Paul. So can you just be aware of this? That this gentleman is casting the line out a bit further over, and he's just saying, they're going to calm things down for you. They're trying to calm things down for you. So I hope you understand that, you guys, and you're wonderful people, and thank you ever so much for being there. You're great. Okay, thank you.
I'm sure he say, I know Paul just said he can relate to much of that about the doorbell and everything, and he just said thank you.
So,
Stargazer would like a mini reading. There's upset in his family or something.
Right, okay, Stargazer, thank you for that. Oh, by the way, before I forget, I must say, we've all got to say it now. Don't forget, these readings are for entertainment purposes only. There's no guarantees. Got to say that for my insurance.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So sorry about that, guys. All right, Stargazer. There's upsetting your family. Right. Right. Stargazer, just right. I've got a gentleman in the world of spirit that's just trying to pull the family back together, but I feel as though it has to come apart. Now, it has to come apart for a reason, because people need to, the way this gentleman's saying it, people need to see what's going on and to be able to listen to each other. I do feel as though you're kind of trying to be the person in the middle and be the negotiator, but it's as though you've got a you're in the circus with one of these poles with plates on the top, and you're trying to keep everything in order all the way around. It's not going to work, love. You've just got to let it go and just let them get on with it. It will come round in the end, because this gentleman has just taken me to a railway track, and he's saying he's got to put you on the railway track. Now, you're coming up to a junction, and you've got to decide which way you're going to go. There's only you can decide that, my love, but you will choose the right side. So please don't worry about it. But you've got to just keep on going on that track. All right. This gentleman in the world of spirit used to chew a lot of gum, because I've got my jaw aches, and it's Americans.
Yeah.
Like, well, he's kind of chewing this gum, and he's kind of saying it was his relief when he got tense. So I feel as though with you, Stargazer, you need to find something that you can just chill with, whether it's swimming or walking, because I feel as though you could do with walking. Go find a person with a dog and take it for a walk. But they're talking about you doing a lot of walking, a lot of thinking, but they are trying to keep you protected. Okay, so things are going to happen. They have to be, because this family needs to learn to listen to each other. All right, my love. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I'm sure he'll get back to us in a minute. Diane, she just wants a general reading. I know she wants to change her job, but will she?
Right. Okay, Diane. Thank you for coming in there, love. Diane, what do you want? I know Pop's just said you want to change your job, but what do you want? Because Spirit are kind of saying, we know you want to change, but what do you want to do? A lot of things in life we're uncertain of, but Spirit want to help. But until you've got your head into gear and said, right, I'd like to do this, please, then they can't really help us, if you see what I mean. I have got a lady here who I feel as though she either passed with a heart condition, or she's just talking about lungs, heart here, and she's just saying, I love you so very much. She's saying thank you for all you did. I don't know if there's a grandma or a mum, but it's on your mum's side, and she's coming in and she's just she's giving me a mixing bowl, and it's as though I'm mixing batter for pancakes and things like this. And the way that they're doing it is they're kind of flipping the pancake and seeing which side it comes up. So I feel as though you will change your job, but there'll be a choice of two sides to this here pancake. So it'll be which side do you want? What do you really want to do? So it's where you're happiest. That's what the feeling is. I also feel as though you should be working with either children or young adults, because I feel as though, Diane, you've got a lot of patience there. And I really feel as though you really could do with working, as I said, not necessarily at schools, but working with kind of children, young adults, and maybe learning difficulties. So I hope that helps. Thank you.
I'm sure she will do, because I know she does night shifts and she hates it.
Right.
So that would be good if she could get
Mm.
like a day job,
Yeah.
doing something like, because she's capable of doing that. I know Diane, she's a very intelligent young lady, and she will get on. She will find what she wants as well.
I think I'm just getting college. So if you find a job in college that'll do, they like I used to be a learning assistant at Bradford College. So if you, wherever you are, if you find a college job, yeah.
You just say, because Diane just said, I work with mental health at work.
Yeah.
So that's good proof.
So there you go. Yeah. So learning assistant, college, that sort of thing, and that'll be the better thing for you. Okay.
Yes, thank you for that. Who's next? Joanne's next. She just wants a general reading for Joanne.
Okay, Joanne. Right. Joanne, I've got nails. Who's doing nails? Because I've got, it's as though you're filing nails down all the time. And this is kind of strange, because it's as though you're going too far down with this. So what they're trying to say is, just think about what you're doing. Take time, look at what you've done in your life, see what you've done rather than criticizing. That's it. Now then, because with this nail filing, it's as though you've gone down and then you're going down a bit further and you're going down a bit further. No, you need to stop looking at it like that and start thinking, wow, look at what I can do. Look at this. I'm good at this. I can do this. Get some nail polish on, lass, and get it going. But the object of this message is to say, it doesn't matter what other people think of you. What matters is how you think of yourself, what you do. So you don't need to make your nails perfect. You need to make your nails right for you, and then go out and enjoy, because you're perfect just as you are. And you need to know this. I've got a lady here in spirit that's talking about a washing machine. And it's as though, I don't know whether you're washing all the time, but there's this washing machine going round and round and round and round and round, and then changing over and going round the other way. And I don't know whether this is to do with something that's going on around you. It's as though there's turbulence, I'll say it like that, agitation, and it's like one side's going and it stops, other side's going and it stops. So you've kind of got to say, hang on a minute, let's get out of this cycle. And you've got to be the one that says, I'm me, I'm perfect as I am. Let's just get this organized here now. I'm in control. Let's go for it. And that's what I've been given. I've also been given, somebody's in spirit that couldn't talk very well, because whether they've passed with a stroke or something to do with this, but they're just making me aware that I'm stuttering and can't speak well. And they've just said, just tell her how wonderful she is. And thank you for everything. I think it's a gentleman that used to like wearing hats that's just come in, and he must have been in the army or services, because he's saluting you. All right, my love, I'll leave that with you.
Oh, thank you for that. I'm sure Joanne will get back to us. I know everybody else said spot on what you're saying. Alex is next. He just wants a general reading. Alex does.
Alex, okay, Alex, right, thank you for that. Thank you, Bob, by the way, for doing such a wonderful job. I have to have a drink in between, and then I can change.
Just before we move on, Joanne's just said, oh my God, I had a nail surgery last year because I cut them too short. All this makes sense. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Right. Yeah, Alex. Okay, Alex, I've got her here. You know the old Bewitched program where she used to twiddle her nose?
Oh, yes.
Well, Alex, I've got you doing this. So I feel as though you're quite good at manifestation, and you're quite good at doing little bits of what I would class as magic. But I do feel as though somebody is actually, and this is the part of it that I feel as though you need. Somebody's been a bit sleight of hand with you. Can you just watch your purse, your money, and just make sure nobody's just taking? It doesn't have to be a lot of money, but it's just as though somebody's just being a little bit naughty. So, but when I said first off about this magic and manifestation, be careful what you. The old witch is saying, be careful what you wish for, because there's a lot of people doing manifestation these days, and seriously, they've got to be careful, because down the line it can cause havoc. Anyway, but with you, once again, put down what you want realistically and then go for it. But bear in mind that what you want and what your soul wants, two different things. Because I've got a gentleman in the world of spirit who's making my arms go up and down. So I don't know whether he was in the Air Force or something about flying, but he's giving you the power to fly. Now, that sounds ridiculous, but I feel as though he was into ornithology, so he was a bird watcher. But he's just showing me you doing what you want. But I do feel as though you're going to fly with this, whatever's coming up. But there is a new moon cycle coming up for you, Alex. So once again, I do feel as though you'll be able to see things differently. It's a new moon, a new start in life, but it's kind of seeing things in a total different scenario. So I hope that made sense, Alex. But this gentleman that with the ornithologist is coming in and he's saying, watch the media stuff. Don't get down the rabbit hole. Okay.
I'm sure he'll get back to us. Thank you for that.
Right.
Alison's next. Alison just said, I'm spreading my dad's ashes end of the month. Has my dad got anything to tell me?
Thank you, Alison. Okay. I'll just get your daddy. I want confirmation, you see, from your dad that it's him. It's just making me sit up a bit more, shoulders back. I feel as though this gentleman's coming in, and he was quite straight in the back, quite sturdy gentleman. I do feel as though he smoked at one time in his life, And I do feel as though he was a very good timekeeper. I'll give you that. Now then, about his ashes. Do you know, Alison is saying, I feel as though he loved his garden. I just feel as though he loved his, I feel as though he loved roses and plants at the side. He said, if you can pop them near some plants, some roses, that would be fine. But he said, to be truthful, he knows, he wants you to know that he's around you anyway. It doesn't matter. But he's coming in and he's saying, thank you for looking after everybody, looking after everything. And I don't know if your dad had a problem with his right foot, but he's just giving me issues with a right foot. Alison, I don't know if you've got have problems sleeping with like irritable leg syndrome. It's awful if you do, because I'd have that. But he's saying he's trying to calm your legs down on a night. So he's just giving me this information for you. Sorry, I'm closing my eyes, because when I close my eyes, I can work better. So, but he's also giving me. I feel as though he loved cars as well, because I've got him in. I don't think it's Formula One. No, it's more like rally cars, because he's just driving around a rally track, going over the jumps and everything in the rally car, and he's just speeding you along there, and he's saying, I'll be with you always, especially when you're driving. All right, so I'll leave you with that.
That's wonderful. I'm sure they'll get back to. I know she said everything you're saying is spot on. Diane's just saying, Janet, my son and girlfriend should be moving into their first home together Friday. He's just found out there's another setback. Will they move in by Friday, or are they going to pull out of the sale?
Right. I do feel as though they will move, and I feel as though it's that house, but I don't feel as though it's going to be Friday. I feel as though it'll be the Friday after. So that's that.
Well, that's good. I suppose. I'm sure.
I got a leap, so it's not this Friday. It's the next Friday.
It's the Friday after.
But I do feel as though it will work. Excuse me. I don't know who this is, Diane, but I've got somebody here talking about a throat issue going on. So whoever's coming into contact with me here had a problem with the throat and or thyroid or something like this, because I'm finding this. But they're just saying, this gentleman's just saying, stop worrying, don't panic. Things will be okay. You might find, though, that all the rugs and the carpets have gone and everything's gone out of the house. But like me with my house, when I moved, it's a brand new start. So just look after this. Tell them to look after each other. And I don't know, Diane, if somebody's got a dog around, had a dog that's gone to spirit, but I feel as though this dog used to go out and fetch slippers. So I don't know what they're talking about here, but I've got like a collection of slippers coming round your feet. So I hope that makes sense.
Well, I'm sure it will be. Yeah, so I'm sure she'll get back to us on that. I know Rebecca's not here tonight. She must be working. Could you? I know she always wants a little reading. Have you got anything for Rebecca? A general reading?
Yeah, general reading. Okay. Right, I do feel as though Rebecca is. I've got a lady here who's talking about Rebecca's got a load of hats on, And this is when I get hats, it's to do with all the different things that she's to kind of do in her life. And I feel as though this she's got to kind of half them because there's too much going on. I feel as though she's actually been quite worn down with all this. So this lady, I don't know whether this lady's a grandma, but she's coming in with a bit of peace. She's also bringing a Swiss roll, a jam Swiss roll, and she's saying to get the pieces, to get the roll in correct size, you've got to kind of cut it in half, cut that half into half and half again. And this is what she's saying, Rebecca, you need to half things and then half them again so that you can cope with it all. I don't know what's going on in your life, but I feel as though you're trying too hard to please everybody and you're not getting anywhere to please yourself. I have been given a spa day for you. I'm coming with you. But this is what this grandma's saying. She's also very wise, is this lady coming in, and she's saying in her day there was a lot of physical work. She's saying she preferred it then to what's going on now because it's not as physical, but it's very emotional. And she's saying she's trying to take the emotion out of things. She's taking you to a beach. Now, I know I live next to a beach. I don't know where you are, but yeah, I feel as though you need to walk and just de-stress. Literally de-stress. I am being given a horse for you. Chestnut thoroughbred. And it's when I get horses, this is a horse. A thoroughbred doesn't usually do the work like a pony does. It's usually a racehorse, but this one is a working horse as well because it's there to carry your burdens. Okay, my love. So I've got to give you a new cycle. Now, when I get cycles, it's a different cycle coming on your life now. And this is where you're going to change your attitudes to things. It's not a motorcycle, so it won't be very, very fast, but it is a new cycle. And you've got to get the balance to keep it going. Okay, my love.
Thank you. And Steph just said, Bob, Rebecca always takes a jam Swiss roll when she visits the grandchildren. So that's where that comes in. Alison's just asking, can you tell me if I'm going in the right direction with a new job? She's had a few problems there, but she's trying to sort everything out.
Right. Okay, Alison. The thing that I got straight away with that was, yes, you are. You're in the right direction, but this is going to be the reason it's a bit bumpy is because this is going to be a kind of a hop, skip, and a jump job. So this is a learning job for you. So this is why it's a little bit fractious, if you see what I mean. It's you have to learn, and it's surprising. I'll just cough on spirit work and tell you this. I worked on main reception desk at the Blue Dolphin in a couple of seasons, and the first season I was there, I was bullied by a workmate, and I couldn't really do the computers because I'm not very good at computers, to be fair. But I learned so much. It was horrible because everybody was coming in wanting this, wanting that. I don't know if you've ever been on reception or whether you've seen people or been at one of these campsites, But when people come in for the caravans, you stood up 8 hours just going.
Yeah, yeah.
And but I learned so much from that job, and now I actually do work for Haven doing gigs, this sort of work, standing up on a stage. So it's just for you, Alison. Learn all you can from this job, because this job is very important to you. You might not feel it, but it will propel you to where you need to be, and it will give you an insight into all sorts of different sides of you. Very important. So try not to take everything negative, but just try and think, yeah, well, okay, I didn't know that about myself. I'll do that. Go for it. Okay, my love. So you're on the right direction, but it won't be the be all and end all job. Okay.
Yeah, I know what she's talking about there as well. Yeah, and I've told her similar things to that as well. Yeah, but thank you for that. She'll take that and she'll learn a lot from it. What you've told her.
Thank you. Want me spirit.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you for a reading?
Right, so I'm on Facebook. You can go to the Janet Wildman page. It's a beautiful picture of me, and I think it's the red one that you've got, Bob, on there. Also, same again, Facebook, it's The Light Within page. It's all linked to the same thing. And that's it, really.
Do you do any Zoom readings?
Yes, I can do Zoom readings, but what I tend to do is do live readings. I'll just pop up on my Facebook pages and just do that. I also, thank you. I also do
Strawberry Fields, don't you?
Strawberry Fields. Yeah, I've just trying to remember where I've been. Levston, sometimes Strawberry Fields, but on Sunday mornings or Sundays, I've got a stall on the indoor market at Skirlington Market. So I'm on there most Sundays. And I do private readings from home. I can do like private readings over the air here. Yeah, so that's basically it, my loves.
Because a few of these, like Diane, Steph, Alison, Rebecca, Alex, Joanne, Janice, quite a few of them come to Bempton during the. I think they're coming in September again. Wow. They come over for a weekend.
Yeah.
They always come over and they go to Bempton and Days Die.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So they do know what Bempton's like, know what Days Die like. But if they did come over, maybe if they wanted a reading, then they could get in touch with you.
That would be wonderful. Yeah. Just send us a friend request on Facebook, and then I'll send you details of what to do, of what I do.
And Alison just said, "Wow, I know definitely what you mean. Thank you."
That's an absolute pleasure, Alison. Thank you so much.
And Joanne just said, "Great show, lovely guest, Bob. Thank you, Janet."
That's absolutely pleasure. Thank you.
Everybody just said thank you, and Dan just said thank you again for coming on.
No, thank you.
And Alex just said, "I think I'll be in touch soon, Janet."
Thank you, my loves.
So he's better off send you a friend request first.
Yeah. I think I've got a few coming through now, so thank you.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so thank you again, Janet, for coming on the show. I think it's about a year ago since last time you were on the show.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Bob, for inviting me again. And I mean, people that know, I don't know, Bob and I sort of live in Bridlington. We're not far from each other, and we spot each other occasionally in
We do, yeah.
Park Street, and it's usually hi.
Yeah, it is. Stephanie says, wonderful again, Bob. And thank you, Janet, for being a brilliant guest.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so it's been, yeah, we're just on the hour. My guest on Friday the 9th is Mercedes Luck Benedict. She's known for her paranormal supernatural life and her work in cranial synchro therapist and a remote viewer. She's a kneeler as well. She's never been on the show before. She does her own podcast on Facebook, Unseen Realm, they call it. So she's on Friday, 2 o'clock Eastern. It's 11 o'clock Pacific and 7 o'clock in the UK. This is this Friday coming.
Right.
So thank you again. And I always say, we'll see you on the other side. Good night and God bless.
Good night. Thank you all. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.